Hello guys, this is Myth here. Today I'm going to bring you guys a 7 night video. It's going to be the first video on my channel. So hope you guys like it and give me some feedbacks. So this video is going to be Castle Rush my way. It's not the best way, but it's just based from my experience of playing this game for almost 5 or 6 months now. So I hope it can be useful for all you guys out there. So also people may think, why do I talk about Castle Rush? Because it seems to be such useless or such a chore for everyone. I think many people think that because the reward chest seems to be really bad. I think you just get some 3-star monsters like Pookie or Coco or some 3-star items from it every day. Well, this is kind of true, but however, I think everyone still should do at least 2 runs on normal or 3 runs on easy every day. Depends on your guild progress. Well, the reason being is these points are important to the guild. Because it's the only source for the guild to level up its buildings, which can be very helpful for everyone and their guildies to progress through the game faster. So I mean, I can understand it's such a chore, but just leave it on auto while you do more important things in your life, I guess, like your homework, housework, or maybe watch some porn. Well, it's up to you. So alright, let's get into this. So firstly, I'm going to talk about formation. So let's go to Castle Rush, and today is Chris Day, I believe. Yep. So this is my Castle Rush setup for today. So I'm using the defensive formation, 4 front and 1 back. The reason being is once you level this formation to level 40, your back unit gets an attack boost of 100%. So that's pretty insane. So basically, the point of doing 4 front and 1 back is that you want to stack the passives and the debuffs with your frontline units while tanking the hits from the boss, so your backline unit can just do huge damage to the boss. Okay, so with the backline units, I'm using Shane. She is the best, or maybe Jupi is the best. Well, they're similar, I guess, but Shen just looks a lot cooler, I think. Well, so in this meta, in the future, there's gonna be another hero called Pascal, which is magic based. He can be your backline unit, but right now it's either Shen or Jupi. And with the frontline units, this is my style. I think some people do it this way and other people do it differently, but this works pretty well for myself. So usually I bring Ace. So he recently just got a big buff, especially the passive. So now he increases all damage on enemies by 50% and decrease defense by 50%. So that's very important. And he's got this skill here, inflicts damage on one enemy. No, this one. Right, so inflicts damage on one enemy and increase the damage received by the enemy by 80% for 2 turns. So that's very big, and I believe this stacks with Rachel's debuff as well. Yeah, so he's very important. If you don't have an ace, because I mean he's a full lord, so he's pretty hard to obtain. You can use Yuri, which is a good substitute. The second unit for my front line is Lina. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Her passive decreases our enemy physical attack / defense by 25%, which is very useful. And she's got an AoE heal, and she's got an AoE damage buff. So she's a very compulsory unit in anyone's CR setup. And also, some people may use Dylan's, but just letting you know, Dylan's passive attack buff does not stack with Lina's this attack buff. So, yeah, okay. And the third unit I bring is Elaine. So, she's a 7 knight, obviously, so maybe she can be a bit hard to obtain, but the reason for her being here is mainly her passive, which increases the physical attack of all allies by 60%. So that makes my Shang hit a lot harder. So, and I believe she is the only unit currently that has a physical attack buff up to 60%. Okay, and now down to the last slot for your team. For me, I change this slot every day. Depends on what day it is. So for today, I use Leo. You can also use Karen. So basically, for their passive, which become immune to death, debuff for 5 turns for all allies. He actually doesn't have this passive when he's only a 5-star. So if you want to use him, you have to have a 6-star version of him, or you have to have a 6-star version of Karen. Yeah, so it pretty much cancels out Chris' death debuff for the first 5 turns, which is pretty huge. And also you may notice I don't have any items or just a 3-star item on him. That's because I want him to die first, so then my friend unit can come in. So the friend unit I'm using is Rachel. Well, it's arguable because since Ace got his buff, he's kind of like a mini Rachel. So you might not need to bring Rachel from your friend list, but I mean, I have friend with 40 Rachel, so I just think why not. An alternative for Rachel would be a May, which I think she reduces damage taken by allies by 50%. And another alternative is the kind of new hero, Zhuge Liang, which he also have a damage reduce buff for everyone. Okay, so let's just go into the this run and see how it goes. And also my mastery. So this is what I'm using. So level 10 to 40, basically everything offensive, and level 30 I choose defensive, and level 45 to 75 I got level 50 defensive and level 70 defensive. Well, this might not be the best mastery, but it works out pretty well for me. Okay, so usually when I go into the actual run, just leave auto scale and click auto summon once one of your hero dies. So while it continues, I want to talk about the other units for every single day of Castle Rush. So we already covered Chris. So for Rudy Day, instead of the Leo or Karen, you need someone that's anti-stun. So that Sieg or Karen well, one is Caring and one is Karen. So they both have anti-stun buff for the whole team. And also Rudy has a shield, which increases his defense, I think, by 80%, and makes him immune to debuffs, so which is very tough. And so you need someone to take that shield down. So this unit can be Ace because he's got the AoE buff removal, or it can be Yuri, it can be your own Rudy, it can be Lubu, and it can be Joker, and also the new unit Legion. He is very good for Rudy Day CR because he's got that single target buff removal, plus every single attack he does, I think, reduces team cooldown by 10 seconds, which is pretty huge. The only reason I don't have him is because you need a pretty high level Legion to do well in normal CR, because otherwise he just dies really easily, and I just don't want to spend much resource on him because personally I'm very PvP focused. So now you can see my Dio just died, but he's got a self-revive, so he comes back. Hopefully he can dice again and Rachel can come in. Well, anyways, so now we covered Rudy and Chris. So for Elaine days, you want to have a Victoria instead of my Dio here. For her passive, immune to Electrify for I think 5 turns, which is very good against Elaine's crowd control. Okay, so Dylan's. Well, Dylan's, you need a Yui for her passive as well, which is being immune to silence and burn damage for 5 or 6 turns. So it's pretty important for Dylan's day. And Spike Day, you need Alania, which has a passive of immune to freezes, so that's Spice crowd control, so that's very important. And Jave can be, because he doesn't have any crowd control, so he's arguably the easiest CR day in my opinion. So for me, I personally brings just a Mei or Zhuge Liang for their passive, both at 6-star with no items, so they can die while their passive remains. And Rachel Day, the last unit you need to bring is Zhuge Liang, because he has a passive of immune to Rachel's debuff for the whole team, so it's very important as well. So that being said, since my friend mentioned to me, well, you see, Rachel comes in here and she is going to use her Phoenix, which reduces crit damage and defense by 80%. Okay, it's going pretty well. 100k points already, and all my units are pretty healthy. Yeah, there's a downside of bringing French Rachel instead of using your own Rachel. Is because she won't be immune to the debuffs, because she comes in after Leo is dead, so she's not covered by Leo's passive, which can be a pain on days which the boss with CC attacks, such as Freeze from Spike, Electrify from Elaine, or even Death from Chris. I'm pretty lucky right now because Chris is not using his death debuff on my Rachel, so she's still pretty healthy. Um, Also, with the items, for everyone, I think the front line should go. Everyone should go double speed. The reason because it makes the turn last longer. And makes your cooldown comes up faster. Yeah. There's also a downside to double speed is they will often speed attack during turns, which can be countered pretty hard by the boss. So it makes your front line die quite easily. But I mean, everything has its pros and cons. So yeah, double speed for frontline units. And with Shang, you want to go double lethal and double counter. The reason for lethal on Shang instead of crit is mainly because she's got a passive that massively increase her own critical rate. So basically she always crits. Yeah, so you see my Elaine dies there, but she comes back to life thanks to the recent 7-Night revamp, which a lot of people complains about it because it kinda makes Lubu more OP, I guess, in Arena, because of especially Elaine, because now she can revive back to life, and Ace, which gives Lubu more damage. But I mean, the good thing about the revamp is that they make it easier for you in PvE, such as Raid and CR. Oh, you see my Shane died there, which is very unfortunate. So that's my main damage gone, and yeah, I don't think if I can score 250k this run, but we'll see. And I'm a wife. I give everyone frontline, single block, and HP, just to make them last longer. And for the backline, Jupi or Shang, just use double counter. And also with Jupi, if you use Jupi, I think Jupi helps the whole team do more damage because of her passive, which I think is increase everyone's lethal attack by a certain amount. But the thing is, Jupi doesn't have Shang's immunity for 2 turns, and she is squishier, I think, than Shang. So I recommend to give her lifesteal gem just for her to survive longer if you use Droopy. And also a downside to Droopy is that her sniping stance takes away 1 turn. So that's pretty huge, 1 turn. Okay, so now you see my units are pretty much dead, and oh, I scored more than 250k, which is pretty good. Yeah, so make sure do your CR and just help the guild. So with the research center effect, which you have to upgrade the research center building, so it gives me an extra almost 80k points, which is pretty huge. Okay, so yeah, so that's it for today's video. I hope you can learn something, mainly because I'm not very prepared for this video, so hopefully in the future videos I'm more prepared and can teach you guys more, I guess. So, oh, and last thing, I have a friend whose name is Nadia. She's from Australia as well, like me, and she asked me to give her a shout out. Let me see. What's her IGN? Where is Nadia? There. Nalakahi. So that's her IGN. She always stays in channel 1, I think. But now I think She may be moving to channel 22, or is it 26? Well, I'm not sure. But there's your shout out, and hope you guys enjoy the video.